Hi, everybody. John Garber from Flying Chimp Media, and I'm back with a question. Have you gotten a suspicious email since the COVID shutdown? Well, there are at least 3 easy things you need to know to protect yourself and your business, and you're going to find out about them right now. Joining me on conference is my dear friend, David Bennett from Connections for Business. Good morning, David.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me. David, you are representing the oldest technology company in Florida, as I recall. And so you have a lot of experience in IT from the mainframe days up to the cloud, right?
You're basically saying I'm old, yes.
Well, you weren't doing a lot of mainframe work yourself back then, but you do have the distinction, David. If I had an award, I would give it to you. I think you're maybe the last remaining male in the United States who will read a product manual. So
that's very true. Unfortunately, that's very true.
That's light reading for you, is the actual product manual. So
that's right.
So terrific, David. Obviously, people working remotely, that's always been huge. People working out of the cloud, people video conferencing. But, you and I have seen in South Florida a lot of hurricanes, a lot of other disasters. And we've talked in the past, it brings out the best in people and it brings out the worst in people. And I love seeing the best, but sometimes I see the worst and I see it in my inbox. What should people look for? Do you have some clear tips people should look for to not click on something and suspect that it is a scam, a phishing attack, a malware?
Yep. It's a good question. And John, you're right. It seems like whenever there is a crisis or a problem going on, the vultures come out and try to play on people's fears to get them to click. So it's not that the vultures are not always out. They are. It's just they change their tune. They change their messaging to be in line with what's going on. So for example, if eBay had just had a compromise problem and it was all over the major media saying that usernames and passwords were compromised on eBay, the vultures would come out and send you emails saying, due to the recent eBay hack, we'd like you to click here to change your password. Well, that's a move where they are in tune with what's going on in the news, and really all they're doing is trying to get you, but you fall for it because you know it's true from the news, and so you do something. So a couple of tips for you, and this is true all the time, not just now during this particular COVID-19 crisis. It's all the time. And the first and foremost, if this is all you do, in fact, I'm going to pause for a minute. I want you to go everyone go get a magic marker. Go grab that magic marker or pen, and I want you to write this down on your hand. Look before you click. Write it down. Look before you click. If you think it's silly, actually write it on your hand, and here's the reason why. I want this to become a new habit, and it won't right away. Thank you. John's going to write it in his ever-ready journal. Look before you click. And maybe we'll even get some time and I'll show you what I mean by that. But the key is when you receive something, and it's got a URL in that. So here's that mystical message from eBay, let's say. Well, hover your mouse over, if you're on a computer, hover your mouse over that URL and it will pop up and it will show you the URL that you're going to go to if you click on it. Look closely. If you see, I'm a Russian who wants to hack you and steal all your money.com, well, that's not eBay. Don't click on that. That would be a bad thing. If you get an email purporting to be from Bank of America, for you to go ahead and check on your recent distribution from the government for the aid for this COVID-19, that's a common one, right? A business owner may get something for PPP, or you as an individual may get something about your distribution for you and your family, and they just change these emails with your particular banking information. Take a look, and if it's coming from Bank of America, but when you click on it, it doesn't actually show Bank of America as the URL, but it shows somewhere in Russia or somewhere in Iran or somewhere in China, that's not a legitimate email. So look before you click. That is the number one thing to do. Here's the second thing. If somebody's sending you a document, my dear friend Jonathan sends me a document. If I wasn't expecting a document from Jonathan, I'm actually not going to open it, even though I know who Jonathan is. Jonathan and I have known each other almost 20 years together. It doesn't matter. Now, if Jonathan had sent me a text and said, there's a really funny document, but I can only send it to you as a Word document, so keep your eyes open for it, I'm cool with that. He sent me a message. But if he just blindly sent me a Word document, I'm not opening it. I'm just not going to do it. I have to know that I'm expecting to receive a document. Otherwise, I'm not going to open it. Now, you might say it's paranoia, but yeah, my job is keeping your data safe. And so look before you click is number one. Number two, don't open documents that you're not expecting from somebody. And the third goes right along with it. Don't open documents at all if you don't know the person. I don't care who they are. This past week, I got several examples of requests for DocuSign. Now, I was in the process of filing for PPP, and so the bank was sending me different documents for DocuSign. I had 4 or 5 different ones that were all scams, along with 2 that were legitimate from my bank. Hard to tell the difference because the documents look the same. Listen, we can laugh at the grammar stuff, and that's kind of old news. And sure, you know, spam stands out. If it's got bad grammar, you know it's spam. Throw it away. But the old days of the Nigerian prince offering us to to transfer $15 million, et cetera. Yeah, those are pretty much gone, and most of the stuff is really, really well crafted and looks legitimate. And so the only real way to know is to look before you click. So listen, one more clue I'll give you is if you're on a phone or a tablet, you might say, well, Dave, there's no mouse. How do I do that if I'm on my phone or my tablet? What you do is you touch the link. You don't touch it, let it go. You touch and hold it. And when you touch and hold that link on your screen, it will pop up that same little window and show you the URL that you're going to. Look at it before you actually click on it and go somewhere. Now, listen, if you still aren't sure, just delete it. That's it. Just delete it. If you're not sure, just delete it. If you have somebody in IT or an IT person, ask them for advice. But if you're not sure, I tell my dad, if you can't ask me, then just delete it. Because guess what? There's nothing that's so critical that you're going to miss out on. Because if it was, if the bank needed some information from you, they'd send you a follow-up email.
They pick up the
Trust
phone.
me.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, they'll pick up the phone.
I get stuff. The scammers are smart. They really are. It's a full-time business for them. It's organized crime. And so they'll send you something from a service that you use. It's not hard to send something from a bank because there are maybe 3 major banks out there that are, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, a couple of. So if they send that to everybody, the odds are in their favor you use one of those services.
That's right.
I get these things from Netflix. Netflix, we're suspending your Netflix. We're suspending it. You got to click here and put in a new payment. I go, wait a minute. Now, I've been around. I look at the return address and I go, Bob Lipschitz mail serve, blah, 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 .de, .ru, .ca, whatever China is.
Right.
And I go, wait a minute. Almost all of these services, including your bank, including your Netflix, if you open up a browser and you log in knowing that you went to the right URL, if they have a message waiting for you, it will be there, right? All of these services, banks and stuff you have an alert, a new message. So if you think you've got an alert from the bank or Netflix or any of your services, forget about that email. Go log into a clean browser, log in yourself, and see if there's a message there. Odds are there's not. The IRS will not be sending you emails.
That's right.
Banks aren't going to ask you to just send you an email and say to put in a social security number. They're just not doing that.
I tell you what, John, why don't we take the minute or 2 that we have left, and why don't I turn around and ask you to walk us through, and let's see how well you do. We'll put you on a hot seat. Let me go ahead and I've got actually a sample. I laugh at some of these. I get a number of different of emails all the time. So here's one. This one concerns me. I got it from Microsoft.
Oh, yeah.
And you see this right here? So so it says that my account has suspicious activity, that someone's been trying to hack into my account. So looking at this email, John, what would you do with this email? What would you say?
I would open it to see who it's from and see what they're asking for.
Okay. So here's the email. And so it's clear it's from Microsoft. It tells us right here it's from Microsoft, right?
Supposedly.
And so, and now I know this is a phishing example email because I shoved it into my folder called phishing examples. So how did I know? What would be your clue looking at this email that we've got something bad?
Well, it's from Microsoft Security, which that's strange that there's someone called Microsoft Security and not Microsoft. We can see an email address, a return address. Can we see the rest of the address?
Yeah, so that's it. There's the whole email. That's actually the email address right there, security@cloudservicecare.com.
Cloud Service Care. Wait a minute. Who's that?
Right. That's not a legit email address. Let's take a look down here and click on the link. And this is what I mean when I say, you hover over and click. Look where that's taking us.
Customerportal.info 80. Where's that?
I don't know, but it's not Microsoft.com.
Nope.
So I would have to say bogus email. And you see how, even though I opened the email, I haven't clicked on any links. So I haven't blown myself up because I haven't clicked on any links.
Right.
Here's one of those DocuSign examples. And again, when you bring it, it looks totally legit. Now, I did not bother downloading the graphics here, which is why this is showing this way. But and I don't know who this person is. Maybe they really literally are sending me a document. I don't know. But notice when I click on view your document.
Wow, that's a huge link. Dan.
And it doesn't begin with something from DocuSign, does it? Dan
Miter. OWA.
Yeah, Metier. Yeah. Right.
That's a really long URL.
And the key is, if it was DocuSign, at least I still wouldn't touch it because I don't know who this person is. But it's not even coming from DocuSign, so it's totally not legit at all. And yet the email looks like it's completely legit. Here's one that I think is always hysterical. You'll get an email like this and say, "Is this your password? You don't know me." This is my father, who's a pastor, received one of these. My attorney received one of these, and they were all like, "I don't go to porn sites." Of course, I said, "Oh, really?" But they don't. But this is another thing that'll happen. So a password that you may have used 20 years ago was compromised, and the bad guys will buy it, even though the password doesn't work anymore. That was a legitimate password that I used to use years and years and years ago. Even though the password doesn't work anymore, it was my password at one point.
It's out there on the dark web.
And out there on the dark web, so it can be purchased on the dark web. And so how this is used as an attack is they tell you, "Hey, this is your password. I placed malware on a site, and now I know that you've been watching porn. And so what should you do? You should send me money here, so that way I don't tell your wife, your family, or whatever else." And believe it or not, these people rake in millions of dollars because people are scared that they've been caught doing something they shouldn't. And it's all really just a fraud. It's a fraud using old credentials that don't even apply anymore. This password for me hasn't been used in years and years and years. And yet people will react in fear. This is that example where you take a little bit of truth, mix it up with the con, but it makes the con palatable. It makes the con believable. It makes the con real to the person, and that sparks their fears. Their imagination does the rest, and you're just looking at an example of a con job. So this is a little bit different, but it's the same kind of fear that is being exploited whenever we have something like a pandemic. The news is fanning and fueling our fears. And so there's all kinds of what we call clickbait, or stuff for you to go click on to know more and to go find out more. And are you infected? And how would you know if you have COVID? And what are the symptoms? And you go, "I got to know, I have to know, I have to know. Oh my gosh, I sneezed. Does that mean I'm going to die?" And you click on stuff, and people are preying on people's fears. So the key with all of these is look before you click, read it, and go, if it smells funny, it probably is.
There's always a legitimate place. If you want to stop the shit, great. There's always a legitimate place if you would take the time, slow down. If you would take the time, there's always a legitimate place to check if you're actually involved in something. You know, again, there are come-ons for your PPP money, a COVID-19 test, your free face mask. They're making it incredibly relevant. And there's always a way, if you would just realize there's nothing easy, there's nothing free, there's nothing coming to you. Slow down. You can always pick up a phone. You can always go to the website yourself on your own links, your own terms, and see if these things are legitimate, see if there's a message for you. Again, I keep getting the same one saying that you have a message from the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. Click here. I'm like, what? I could turn on the TV if I wanted to hear a message from Ron DeSantis. I could go to his website. There's, you know, I had to click here to verify I got it. I mean, it was so obvious. And, you know, I think there's a lot of stuff that normally you would say it's obvious, like the old Nigerian scams, but they make it really targeted, and they really play on people's fears. And the bottom line is, if you laugh it off and go, Pshaw, who would fall for that? Lots of people do. Your parents may fall for it. Your aunts and uncles may fall for it. Your employees may fall for it, right? If
hey,
you
let
don't
me tell
tell
you,
your employees.
I preach this, and I fell for it. Let me tell you what happened, okay? Because all of us can and will make this mistake. So don't feel ashamed. It's not the hall of shame, but the issue is the more you learn and the more you are aware, the less likely you will have a problem. Here's a scenario that happened. I needed a part to fix a carburetor on a small engine that I have in my garage. And I bought the part on eBay. Within 20, 30 minutes, it was just fluke timing. I got a email from PayPal, because the order on eBay, I paid for it via PayPal. I got an order via PayPal. I got an email from PayPal saying that my transaction was reversed. I need to go ahead and click here. Now, it just happened to be coincidence, had nothing else to do with it. But because of the timing, I had just placed an eBay order, paid for it via PayPal. I was primed that, I did something wrong. It was like 11:30 at night, and on my iPad, I clicked on the link. And as soon as I did, I was like, I didn't hold that. Hold on just a second here. I went back, I held it down, I was like, oh crap. I closed out the links and everything else. But still, I was primed because of the events that I did. Think about it. How many other people had just placed an order on eBay in the last couple of hours would have been primed for that exact hack attempt? And that's all it is. They're playing the odds. They're spamming millions of emails, assuming, hey, if I hit all of America, 300 some odd million Americans, a few of them probably just did an eBay order. And I'm going to go ahead and they're going to be my suckers today. And that's the game.
It's like the stuff from banks. There's really 3 major banks. And if I sent out stuff from each of those 3 to everybody, a bunch of people, they're just playing the odds. And I got to tell you, it works because they're making not millions, David, billions.
Yes.
Billions a year on that. So our time is up. I want to thank you so much for our time. Let me ask you something. You've probably been following what we've been posting on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. We've got this campaign called Pass the Hat. And Pass the Hat isn't just about helping each other in charity, but we are all on this together. It's about businesses finding ways to continue to do business despite the shutdown. And it's about people like you and me finding ways to support those businesses and continue. And it could be as simple as sending pizzas to a family of a doctor, nurses, sending it to an ER, people sewing masks at home, people doing curbside pickup, and those kinds of things where we can continue to keep the economy going and support first-line responders. Are you able to offer anything to people right now who have a suspicious email? They've got a question. They can send you a screenshot. Is there anything you can help a business owner with?
Sure. In fact, I'd make this offer available not just to even business owners, but to anybody within the business who may even have a concern. I'm happy to have a call with you and talk about your specific case and concerns. I know a lot of business owners are home along with their employees at their respective homes. A lot of us are doing interactive meetings like this. We can do a Zoom meeting. We can just do a phone call. Let me give you my phone number real quick.
Sure.
And I'm just going to say, reach out and give me a call. It's 954-624-9511. That number again at my office is 954-624-9511. Just pick up the phone, give me a call. I'll be happy to chat with you about your particular question. It could be a question that you have regarding something that you received in an email. It could be a question that you've got about how to keep your own business more secure and what steps could you take. I'm happy to talk with you about it.
Excellent. David, thank you for that offer. I am asking everybody that I'm interviewing, thought leaders like yourself, to throw a little something in, pass the hat, and just offer to help people in the community. So that's what I was looking for. I appreciate it.
Excellent.
David, thank you so much for your time. I think I need to schedule another interview with you. I think maybe everyone with the homeschooling, keeping your home network secure is something we'll talk about. How about that?
That would be
David,
fine, but I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you so much, David. Always appreciate your leadership, and thank you for your time.